Hello, and welcome to our consulting proposal for Spirit Airlines. Our team consists of Emily, Tamara, Jericho, John, and Kara. We look forward to walking you through our analysis, methodology, and strategic recommendations for a 3-year plan. Today, we will be discussing an overview of where Spirit Airlines is today, a discussion of our 3-year plan, identifying what the organization should be doing that it is currently not, what the organization should stop doing, looking ahead at the future of Spirit Airlines, as well as discussing why our recommendations are the best path forward. First, to provide an overview, Spirit Airlines operates within the ultra-low-cost carrier airline industry within the United States, Caribbean, and Latin America. Spirit's ongoing strategy that is well known by consumers is to provide low prices and amenities for a fee. Their existing strategy allows the company to generate non-ticket revenue streams. Today, Spirit's primary goal is to focus on market development and penetration through geographical expansion and acquiring greater market share. Spirit was founded in 1964 and today offers over 500 flights per day through 65 airports. The firm is currently in growth mode, striving to increase its U.S. market share 2% through 2021. Additionally, the airline industry is expected to go 3% annually, presenting a significant opportunity for growth. Spirit is focusing on the market of price-conscious consumers in the Caribbean and Latin America by increasing travel options to these locations. Additionally, the airline is investing in larger aircrafts that fit more passengers than competing airlines. Next, an internal assessment of Spirit Airlines will reveal the strengths and weaknesses that relate to management, marketing, finance, and accounting. Capitalizing on internal strengths will help the airline form a competitive advantage amidst a highly competitive environment. Spirit's internal factors were weighted according to importance and subsequently ranked per Spirit's strategy and response. First, Spirit's top strength include their strong statement of ethics and governance, the variety of amenities offered that generate non-ticket revenue streams, a higher ESG rating than the industry average, as well as its expansion into new markets. As mentioned earlier, Spirit's investing in larger A320 aircrafts that will help decrease their fuel expenses as well. Weighted less heavily, but that are still considered a strength, include Spirit's positive revenue trends, increased revenue passenger miles known as RPMs, and quick turnaround times at airport gates. Per our analysis, Spirit's critical weaknesses include its lack of marketing alliance within the airline industry, lack of gender diversity in leadership, and lack of clear mission and vision statements. Spirit also suffers from limited flight availability to seasonal locations and slow growth in international markets. This assessment identified which internal factors Spirit needs to focus on moving forward. Next, evaluating Spirit's external assessment is equally as critical as the internal analysis. Opportunities for Spirit include their COVID-19 response, investment in technology and green energy, expansion of amenity options, as well as M&A opportunities. Spirit Airlines faces setbacks from COVID-19 travel restrictions and supply chain disruption, and conflicts in Ukraine may further restrict expansion into Europe. Threats include ongoing COVID-19 travel restrictions and navigating the unknown, competitors like Ryanair, EastJet, AirAsia, and Lion Air Group, political instability in potential new territories, the increase in fuel prices, and an overall lackluster reputation. Jet fuel prices have increased steadily up to 70% across 2021 alone. We suggest investing in implementing new technologies for ticketing, expanding amenity selections, and embracing new green tech innovations.
Hello, my name is John Hood, and I'm going to be walking you through our 3-year strategic plan overview. In 2023, we plan to update our offerings, our amenities that we provide to our travelers to best suit their wants and needs, and also to craft a vision and mission statement which currently Spirit Airlines does not have. Simultaneously, we're going to be scouting expansion locations, looking to South America, and vetting fleet updates and finding partnerships for a rebrand that will coincide with those fleet updates. In 2024, that's when we're actually going to institute those updates. This is going to be updates to efficiency, fuel, and energy efficiency. And at that same time, we're going to be finalizing those expansion plans that I spoke about and beginning the initial rebrand to coincide with those fleet updates. In 2025, that's when we're going to actually institute that expansion. That's going to be opening us up to larger cities in South America, with flights coming from Texas and Florida primarily. At that same time, then we'll be initiating amenities and offerings calibrations for those foreign markets and pushing foreign rebranding strategies. So our existing strategies that we want to continue throughout this will be strengthening our domestic air transportation foothold in places like Florida, Texas, and the northern states. By doing this, we'll be increasing our fleet size, creating more regular flights to and from popular locations, and buying larger airframes to hold more passengers per flight. That'll lower our cost in the long run. We also want to maintain that ultra low cost pricing. So here we're going to be targeting price conscious customers and looking for innovative ways to drive down cost even further. And lastly, we're going to be pushing to become even more energy efficient with those updates that I previously spoke of, updating our aircraft inventory and incentivizing energy efficient initiatives. And new strategies that we want to implement. The next slides are going to speak to this a little more, but I just want to briefly go over them. That's going to be expanding into new markets. So purchasing 30 new aircraft, that's going to help drive that expansion that I spoke about in South America. And then hiring the staff and representatives that we'll need down there. We also want to establish a high quality reputation. So Spirit Airlines wants to go in the direction of being a more high class airline as opposed to a bargain airline. We'll do this by putting 10 million towards our luxury a la carte campaign, updating those amenities and getting a better selection like I talked about. For this, we would consider celebrity partnerships for niche brands, think Aviation Gin and Ryan Reynolds. We also want to develop mission vision statements like I spoke of to support these objectives. And of course, improve amenities offerings. So we want to evaluate the customer's wants and needs while they're traveling. Obviously, this is going to be different based on where they're traveling from and to, but we want to get a good beat on that. And we also want to expand product selections, like I spoke of with celebrity endorsements and their products that they can help bring aboard. And yes, ties with celebrity endorsements, like I said.
Into what Spirit Airlines should be doing that it currently isn't. First of all, we'd like to explore the idea of expanding into international markets and building new travel destinations for Spirit Airlines. Currently, they operate in the United States, Latin America, and the Caribbean, but don't have an established presence in Asia or Europe specifically, nor do they have a presence in the Middle East. These are all huge untapped opportunities for a budget airline. The next item we would like to consider for Spirit Airlines that they should be tackling more, they've made an effort toward this a little in recent years under duress with COVID, but tackling a better business reputation overall. When Spirit Airlines was first started, they got away with a lot of things because they had unbeatable rates. That hasn't been the case as much. With the onset of COVID, all airlines have been forced to reduce their prices, try to appeal to a constrained economy. And now you find that it's more competitive. So that advantage for Spirit Airlines isn't as much of an advantage these days. And when that's the case, when Spirit has a reputation for unruly passengers, lost bags, and late arrival times, it's easy to see how passengers could turn away from them and even be willing to pay a little bit more in fees and everything else to get a comparable airline that doesn't have that same reputation. Which brings us to the last item. Spirit Airlines, like a lot of budget airlines, offsets its low costs by introducing fees and amenities. We would suggest that Spirit Airlines remove or reduce a lot of these sharpshooter fees in exchange for a broader selection of amenities. So things like, for instance, some airlines have introduced self-service snack bars or even in-flight nannies to help take care of small children on the plane. In terms of fees, one of the problems for Spirit Airlines, it's something that's gotten them hit in terms of reputation, is not surprise fees, because they do tell people that these fees are a problem, but there are fees that you might not know about until you get to your terminal the day of. So between the passenger fee, which is a flat fee of $23, plus a seat reservation fee, which can vary between being $10 to $70, depending on where you're at, plus the fees related to baggage per leg of your trip, you can easily end up in a position where your budget plane ticket is suddenly about comparable to what you would have paid with a mainstream airline. These are all the areas we would like to suggest that Spirit Airlines focus on correcting that it has not paid as much attention to or should be paying more attention to. Now that we've talked for a minute about things Spirit Airlines can do going forward to help itself, we'd like to take a moment to talk about things Spirit Airlines should definitely stop doing. First and foremost, Spirit Airlines should start thinking about what it wants to do in terms of expansion and growth and stop thinking about consolidating into areas where it has already established a foothold. Spirit Airlines has a strong presence in the United States, Latin America, and the Caribbean, where now it would be in Spirit Airlines' interest to focus on thinking about Europe or about Asia and expansion where it really hasn't been built to do that before. Spirit Airlines doesn't have a lot of divisions or segments. It's a very homogeneous, consolidated power core as well. So for Spirit Airlines, we would recommend that they stop focusing inward and start focusing outward in that regard. The next item we would recommend is that Spirit Airlines very much revise how they handle public relations. Spirit Airlines in the past has had absentee or even downright toxic and counterproductive public relations in the past. In 2015, a dying Vietnam veteran tried to plead with Spirit Airlines to get a refund for his $200 ticket because his doctor told him it would be unwise for him to fly in his condition, and Spirit Airlines simply responded no. There was a media backlash. A lot of damage had been done to the company as a result of this statement when their reputation was already suffering. Given that Spirit Airlines is already struggling to recoup its reputation as a business, this is an obvious next step, and it's something that Spirit Airlines needs to take steps to halt immediately.
Looking ahead, competitive profile matrix, income statement and balance sheets, and SWOT matrix for Spirit Airlines. The competitive profile matrix for Spirit Airlines. The profile matrix reveals how Spirit Airlines compares in a wide range of critical factors. Critical factors that were evaluated on this matrix are passenger yield, customer satisfaction, revenue growth, and mishandling of baggage, among others. We see that Southwest Airlines has the highest overall score at 2.67 in the third column. Spirit Airlines ranked number 3 on this profile matrix with 1.93 behind JetBlue. Southwest continues to dominate 9 of 13 categories shown on this matrix. Spirit Airlines competes in a market dominated by a small number of airlines offering the lowest fare to their customers. They rank well below Southwest 17.71% of the market share at 5.25%, leaving room for growth in the future. The competitive profile matrix shows Southwest ranking the highest due to the volume and customers per month compared to JetBlue and Spirit Airlines. This allows them to gain superior market share within the airline industry. Spirit Airlines income statement. Looking at the income statement, we observe the gross profit of Spirit Airlines increasing in 2018 and 2019. Unfortunately, the industry was hit hard due to COVID-19 in 2022, where we see a significant drop in revenue. In 2021, we show a rise in comparison to the year 2020, expressing that the recovery of COVID-19 has begun. Moving on to the Spirit Airlines balance sheet, we can view the current and total assets that are shown on the balance sheet, depicting the highest in 2020. The balance sheet also shows the rise in fixed assets over the 4-year period where 2021 is shown as the highest. The Spirit Airlines SWOT analysis shows how we can analyze and identify and evaluate its strengths and weaknesses within the airline. This method allows development of strategies and will allow the airline to apply forward thinking in the future. Strengths such as the strong statement of ethics and governance, positive revenue trending each non-ticket revenue category, and potential expansion to new markets are a plus. We also see the opportunities of the recovery of COVID-19 and the green energy movement. Weaknesses and threats are also viewed. Weaknesses such as absence of division in segments, lack of marketing alliance with other airline industries, and lack of clear vision and mission statements are viewed. Threats also can be shown on this analysis as COVID-19 travel restrictions are still in place by country and vary from location to location, and the supply chain disruption and a lack of essential workers. This analysis allows us to build strategies such as increasing technology deployment, online applications, and self-service applications for customers to build confidence in the airline and the industry. We also can provide innovative amenities to allow for comfort and best travel, consuming the customer and having them come back year after year for travel. These strong methods the airline can apply are important, and in turn, this will strengthen the brand while increasing revenue.
Hi, my name is Kara Winkler, and I'm going to go over the economic impact of the strategy that we are proposing, as well as the 5-year plan to how to implement our 3-year strategy overall. So given our strategy, we are looking at a 5-year increase for revenue in the first year, as well as a 10-year increase in each year after that through our strategy implementation. And this is majorly due to the increase in the fleets and the proposed changes that we are looking to implement. We are hesitant to say more than 5% in our projections the first year in 2022, just due to the current international situation with the pandemic and people being a little bit more hesitant in starting up leisure travel again. And given this unique situation, we are looking at a conservative 5% increase comparatively to 2021 and years previous data. So after the initial review and implementation of our strategies, we are looking at a 10% increase in 2023 and 2024. And this is given based off of a 2% increase in cost and the initial investment of the updates to the fleet. So to implement our strategy, we are looking at a 5-year timeline from 2022, our current year, through 2026. In 2022, we are advising Spirit Airlines to do an initial analysis and create a 5-year steady growth plan, which wouldn't necessarily have Spirit Airlines implement every change in the immediate future, but more so over a period of time so that they can steadily grow to meet their competition. And the first year, we additionally suggest creating a public relation guidelines and a new marketing strategy for Spirit Airlines. By 2023, we really want to initiate the change. So as we talked about previously, releasing a new vision and mission statement that were drafted, create a list of the expansion destinations for the company to operate in, and begin the process to expand, to include knowing what the destinations regulations are, adding the airports that we can currently already operate in or have the knowledge, know-how in advance, and then begin looking into those additional restrictions that would need to be processed. And in 2023, we really want to start the fleet update. So this is taking the current fleet that is already in existence and owned by Spirit Airlines and making those updates to improve the customer service that is already provided, as well as reviewing the technology options to improve the customer experience. So not necessarily creating any new technologies, but really starting the research on the back end. By 2024, we want to begin the expansion into operating in the areas in and around the US where they currently already operate. So this is to kind of keep them in the area that they already know, but enable expansion and get some new flight patterns and paths going. In addition to releasing the fleet updates that were already started. So they are going to start utilizing the fleet updates that were made. We also suggest embracing organizational transparency and continue to update the marketing strategy and focus on rebranding internationally. This is to lead us up to the international expansion with the updated fleet and the expanded fleet to increase the revenue overall. And in 2024, we want to have Spirit Airlines begin the expansion of the fleet. So start purchasing new aircraft, looking at what is needed and what they can kind of purchase in 2024 versus 2025 and break up those pieces. And then in 2025, we want to move into new technologies and expanding into new locations internationally. So Spirit Airlines will continue their expansion into new territories locally, but also into international locations. In addition, in 2023, we researched new technologies through 2024. And by 2025, we want to release those new technologies and customer experiences for improvements in customer offerings. So this will enable Spirit Airlines to really have the availability to provide their customers what they want and increase their revenue overall by kind of breaking down the ultra low costs and having customers be able to pick and choose what they want to pay for. And then ultimately, we want to expand Spirit Airlines into the international markets. And we need to continue the marketing campaigns internationally to build up Spirit Airlines. And by 2026, we want to continue looking forward. So we want to reevaluate the 5-year plan, see what we completed, what we didn't, what needs to be readdressed, and make adjustments for the upcoming 5-year cycle. So we want to re-release a 5-year plan and move forward with the continued advancements. So given this 5 years, we are very confident that Spirit Airlines would be able to implement our strategy and have the expansion and growth that really will enable them to be competitive in the marketplace.